The termination letter shakes in my hands. 11 years at Sterling Innovations. 11 years of late nights, weekend projects, presentations that saved deals worth millions. All reduced to 2 paragraphs and a security escort to the door. I walk through our front door at 2 in the afternoon. My husband Blake looks up from his laptop with surprise. Home early. I got fired. The words taste like ash. Blake blinks. Then, incredibly, he laughs. Not a nervous chuckle, but a full, genuine laugh. Well, maybe it's your fault you didn't see this coming, Vanessa. I freeze. The man who promised to support me through anything is laughing at the worst moment of my career. What did you just say? Blake shrugs, still smiling. Come on. You've been coasting there for years. Everyone knew your projects were outdated. Maybe this is the wake-up call you needed. The words hit like physical blows. Coasting? Outdated? I built half the systems Sterling runs on. My phone pings. A message I barely register through my shock. Blake glances at my screen and his smile falters. The sender, Nora Lynn, Talent Acquisition, Helix Solutions. I didn't open it in front of him. Behind our bedroom door, I finally read Nora's message. Ms. Foster, we've been following your work at Sterling for some time. Helix Solutions would like to discuss a leadership opportunity that matches your expertise. Are you available this week? My heart pounds. Helix Solutions. The tech startup disrupting markets Sterling has dominated for decades. They want me? For a leadership position? I sit on our bed, reading it 3 times. How do they even know my work? Sterling barely acknowledged my contributions, always crediting my manager Jacob or the department as a whole. A knock. Blake's voice. Vanessa? You okay? Fine. I call back, steadier than I feel. When I emerge, Blake watches me carefully. Who texted? Just a friend checking in. The lie comes easily. After he laughed at my pain, I'm not ready to share anything with him. 2 weeks before the firing, I'd stumbled onto something I shouldn't have seen. Working late, I noticed Jacob's computer still on in his office. He'd left without logging out. A Slack thread caught my eye, one with Blake's name in it. My husband in a work channel with my manager. Why? I clicked the thread open, my stomach already sinking. Jacob. Vanessa's still pushing that legacy framework. So, behind the curve. Blake. Tell me about it. I've been saying for months she's stuck in the past. Jacob. Does she not see how the industry's moved on? Blake. She sees what she wants to see. Classic Vanessa. Both had added laughing emojis. I took screenshots of everything. 23 messages spanning 3 weeks, all mocking my work, my ideas, my approach. My own husband and manager, bonding over their shared disdain for me. I closed the computer and returned to my desk. I didn't confront them. Instead, I started quietly backing up every project file, every algorithm, every client strategy I'd personally developed over the years. If they thought I was behind the curve, they had no idea what was coming. Now, standing in my bedroom with Helix's message on my phone, those screenshots feel like ammunition. Blake mocked me in private. Sterling fired me in public. But I'd been documenting everything, building my own foundation while they dismissed me. The call with Helix happens Friday morning. Nora Lynn's voice is warm but professional. Vanessa, we've been impressed by your work at Sterling for years. Specifically, your client retention strategies and predictive analytics framework. How do you know about those? I ask carefully. Sterling doesn't publish individual contributions. Nora laughs. Your clients talk. Several mentioned you, specifically when discussing why they stay with Sterling. They value your personal attention and innovative approach. My throat tightens. Someone noticed. Someone valued what I built. We're looking for a lead product strategist, Nora continues. Someone who can bring strategic vision and client relationships to help us scale. The role comes with equity, a team of 5, and full autonomy over product direction. Lead product strategist. Not an analyst reporting to someone else. A leader. I'm very interested, I say. After the call, I sit in a grocery store parking lot, hands shaking. Blake's laughter echoes in memory, but it feels distant now, powerless. That evening at dinner, Blake asks casually, "Any job leads yet?" "A few possibilities," I say vaguely. His smirk tells me he thinks I'm exaggerating. He has no idea what's really happening. Saturday, I spend 6 hours organizing my encrypted backup folders. Everything I built at Sterling is here. Proprietary client relationship models, analytics dashboards I coded after hours, strategic frameworks I developed using my own research and resources. Sterling's employment contract claimed ownership of work created, using company time and resources. But I'd been careful. Everything in these folders was created on my personal laptop during evenings and weekends, using open-source tools and my own methodologies. I documented timestamps, version histories, development logs. Every file proved I was the sole creator, working on my own time with my own equipment. Blake never questioned my late nights. He assumed I was just working hard for Sterling. He never asked what I was building, never showed interest in the details of my work. Now, looking at 3 years of innovation documented here, I realized something profound. Blake never saw my value because he never bothered to look. Monday morning, Helix requests a demonstration. "We'd love to see your predictive client retention model in action," Nora says. "Can you present to our executive team Wednesday?" "Absolutely," I reply, already planning. Blake notices me preparing Tuesday night. Job interview. Something like that. Wednesday's demonstration is flawless. I present to Helix's CTO, Devin Park, Nora, and 3 senior executives. My screen shows the predictive system I developed, an algorithm analyzing client behavior patterns, flagging retention risks, suggesting intervention strategies. This model improves Sterling's client retention by 18%, I explain. But they used only 30% of its capability. With proper implementation, you could see improvements of 30 to 40%. Devin leans forward. "You built this entire system yourself?" "Yes." "Over 2 years, working evenings and weekends." Sterling used it but never understood how it actually worked. I pull up technical documentation. I can show you the full architecture. For the next hour, they ask technical questions. I answer everyone with confidence and detail. This is my work. I know every line of code, every decision point, every optimization. When the presentation ends, Devin smiles. "Vanessa, when can you start?" I blink. "You're offering me the position? Based on what we've seen?" "Absolutely. Pending final negotiations, of course." I float out of that building. They didn't just see my value, they understood it immediately. That night, Blake barely looks up when I come home. "How'd the interview go?" "Really well." The rumors start before I even accept Helix's offer. My former colleague Whitney texts, "Is it true? Are you in talks with Helix?" "Where did you hear that?" "Everyone's talking about it." Jacob's freaking out. More messages follow throughout the day. Former teammates asking if the rumors are true, if I'm really leaving, if I'm okay after the firing. Some send screenshots of internal Slack channels where people speculate about my next move. One screenshot catches my attention from the executive channel I never had access to. "Jacob, if Vanessa goes to Helix, we need to consider which clients might follow her." CEO Richard Sterling. "How many clients has she personally managed?" Jacob. 12 of our top 20 accounts. She's been their primary contact for years. Richard. "Get ahead of this. Schedule calls with all 12. Immediately." I read the exchange 3 times, satisfaction warming my chest. They're panicking. They finally realize what they're losing. Another text from Whitney. "Jacob's calling an emergency team meeting. Something about client retention strategy." I don't respond. I'm too busy smiling at the chaos I've apparently created just by being valued somewhere else. Blake tries calling me at lunch. I let it go to voicemail. When I listen later, his voice sounds strained, almost panicked. "Vanessa, call me back. It's important. Why didn't you tell me you were talking to recruiters? We need to discuss this." I delete the message without calling back. That evening, Blake's waiting when I get home. "Why didn't you return my call?" "I was busy." "Busy with what?" "Vanessa, people are saying you're going to Helix. Is that true? I look at him calmly.
Who told you that?
Jacob mentioned it. He said you've been in talks with them. Blake's expression mixes confusion and something that might be fear. Why wouldn't you tell me about this? Because I didn't need to, I say simply. They already knew me. They reached out. This has nothing to do with you. The words land hard. Blake's face flushes. Nothing to do with me? I'm your husband. The husband who laughed when I got fired. My voice stays level, but each word is deliberate. Who said I was coasting? That my work was outdated. So no, Blake, I didn't feel the need to share good news with someone who found joy in my bad news. Silence fills our kitchen. Blake opens his mouth, closes it, walks away without another word. The first client email arrives Thursday morning. It's from Andrew Chun, CEO of a manufacturing company I've worked with for 6 years. Vanessa, I heard you've left Sterling. I wanted you to know you've been instrumental in our partnership. If you're moving to another firm, I'd be very interested in continuing to work with you directly. Please let me know your plans. By noon, four similar emails arrive. All from clients I've personally nurtured, all expressing interest in following me to Helix. I forward them to Nora. FYI, client interest. Her response is immediate. This is incredible. Can we schedule a call to discuss transition strategy? Sterling's panic intensifies. Whitney sends another screenshot. CEO called all-hands meeting. Jacob looks like he's going to be sick. They're scrambling to keep clients from leaving. Friday, I receive a certified letter from Sterling's legal team. A reminder of my non-compete clause and confidentiality agreement. They're trying to intimidate me. I forward it to the employment lawyer I hired 2 days ago. Her response, don't worry. Based on your documentation, you're completely protected. Your work was done independently, and non-competes rarely hold up for terminated employees. Saturday morning, I meet Devin at a quiet cafe downtown. He's maybe 50, with kind eyes and a direct manner I appreciate. Vanessa, let's talk openly, Devin says, stirring his coffee. We know Sterling will fight to keep you from bringing clients over. We're prepared to support you legally if needed. But more importantly, we want you to understand what we're offering. He slides a folder across the table. Inside is a formal offer letter. The salary makes my eyes widen, 40% more than Sterling paid me. Plus equity. We're not just hiring you for technical skills, Devin continues. We're hiring you for your vision, your ability to build relationships, to see what clients actually need, to innovate solutions. At Sterling, you were constrained. Here, you'll have autonomy. I read through the offer carefully. This is incredibly generous. It's what you're worth. Sterling undervalued you for years. We won't make that mistake. On the drive home, I think about Sterling's legal threat. They're afraid because they know the truth. I was the foundation holding up their client relationships. Without me, those relationships are vulnerable. Blake's car is gone when I arrive. A note on the counter. At the gym. Back later. I don't miss him. Sunday night, I review every contract and timestamp associated with my work. My lawyer was right. Everything I created was done after hours, on personal equipment, using my own methodologies. Sterling's employment contract states, work created using company time, resources, or proprietary information belongs to the company. But my documentation proves I never used their resources. I pull up development logs. Every file has a creation date and modification history. My personal laptop's serial number is embedded in the metadata. My home IP address is logged in the version control system I used. This isn't theft. This is me taking ownership of intellectual property I created independently. Monday morning, I send everything to Helix's legal team with detailed explanation. 2 hours later, their lawyer calls. Ms. Foster, your documentation is exceptional. You have clear ownership of this work. We're confident proceeding with your employment and integration of your systems. I exhale relief. Thank you. One more thing. Sterling may try claiming your client relationships are their property. They're not. Clients choose to work with individuals, not just companies. You haven't stolen anything. That afternoon, I send Helix my formal acceptance. Lead product strategist. Start date, 2 weeks. Blake comes home late Tuesday, his face drawn. He drops his briefcase by the door and sits heavily on the couch. Jacob called me today, he says, without preamble. Sterling's losing clients. 3 have already confirmed they're moving to Helix once you start there. I don't respond. I'm making dinner, chopping vegetables with careful precision. Vanessa, did you know this was going to happen? Blake's voice rises. Did you plan this? I set down my knife and turned to face him. I didn't plan anything. I built relationships with clients over years of hard work. They value that relationship. Sterling firing me doesn't erase 6, 7, 8 years of trust one built. But you're taking their clients. Blake stands now, agitated. That's what? I interrupt. Fair? After 11 years of underpaying me, undervaluing me, taking credit for my work? After firing me without cause? You think I owe Sterling loyalty? Blake's mouth opens and closes. The projects you managed, Jacob said they're falling apart without you. Nothing's documented properly. Client contacts are missing. Systems aren't working right. That's Sterling's problem. They should have valued me when they had me. Vanessa. Blake's voice cracks. Those contracts. The revenue from those clients. That's what funded. He stops abruptly. Funded what, Blake? He doesn't answer. But I see the realization dawning on his face. The revenue I generated funded his comfortable life. And he laughed when I lost my job. Wednesday, Helix makes the official announcement. A press release. Helix Solutions welcomes industry veteran Vanessa Foster as lead product strategist. My phone explodes with notifications. Former colleagues congratulating me. Clients reaching out. Industry contacts wanting to connect. Blake reads the announcement on his laptop. His face pale. Lead product strategist, he says quietly. With equity. Yes. That's a significant position. Yes, it is. He looks at me like he's seeing me for the first time. Vanessa, I didn't realize. You didn't realize what? That I was actually good at my job? That I had value beyond what Sterling acknowledged. My voice is calm, but each word deliberate. You laughed at me, Blake. When I was at my lowest point, you laughed. I didn't mean. Yes, you did. You meant exactly what you said. You thought I was coasting, outdated, blind to my own failures. I pause. The only person who was blind was you. You never saw what I was capable of because you never bothered to look. Blake stands there speechless. His phone buzzes. He glances at it and winces. Jacob's calling me. Then answer it. I walk to our bedroom and close the door. My first day at Helix is everything Sterling never was. The office is bright, modern, filled with energy. My team, 5 sharp, eager professionals, greets me with genuine welcome. Devin takes me on a tour, introducing me to department heads, explaining Helix's vision. We're building something different here, he says. A company that actually values innovation and the people who drive it. In my office, an actual office with a door and window, I find a welcome basket and cards from team members. One makes me smile. We've heard amazing things about you. Can't wait to work together. That afternoon, I present to the executive team about implementing my client retention system. They ask smart questions, challenge my assumptions productively, and ultimately approve full implementation with a budget of $200,000. Walking to my car that evening, I call my best friend Olivia. It's real. I'm actually doing this. How does it feel? She asks. Like I can finally breathe. At home, Blake is cooking dinner. This is new. He never cooks. How was your first day? He asks carefully. Great. Really great. We eat in awkward silence. Blake keeps glancing at me, wanting to say something but not knowing how. Finally, he speaks. I read the press coverage of your hire. Multiple outlets covered it. They called you a rising industry leader. Yes. I didn't know you were that prominent. I set down my fork. You never ask. Internal emails from Sterling start leaking. Someone, probably Whitney or another disgruntled employee, forwards me screenshots of the chaos. One email from the CEO: "We need immediate damage control. Vanessa Foster's departure has created significant client instability. Jacob, I need a full report on every project she managed and status of client relationships." Jacob's response: "Sir, the issue is more complex than anticipated. Vanessa managed implementation of our entire client retention system. No one else has her level of technical knowledge or client relationships. We're essentially starting from scratch." Another email from the CFO: "Projected revenue impact if we lose the clients Vanessa managed, $4.2 million annually." I forward these to Nora. FYI. Her response: "They're panicking." Good. More screenshots arrive throughout the week. Sterling is scrambling to hire consultants to reverse engineer my systems. They're offering clients incentives to stay. They're quietly asking former colleagues if anyone has copies of my documentation. None of it will work. The documentation I left behind was deliberately incomplete, basic operational guides, but nothing showing underlying logic or optimization algorithms. And the clients are loyal to me, not Sterling. Friday afternoon, Jacob leaves me a voicemail. His voice is strained, almost pleading. "Vanessa, we need to talk. Can you please call me back? It's urgent." I deleted the message without responding. I launched Helix's professional development initiative in my second week. It's a mentorship program for mid-career professionals who feel overlooked or undervalued in current companies. We're specifically looking for hidden talent, I tell Devin when pitching the idea. People like I was doing excellent work without recognition or advancement opportunities. Devin approves immediately. "This aligns perfectly with our values. Build it however you envision." Within days, applications flood in. I read through them carefully, looking for people with strong technical skills but limited advancement in current roles. 3 former Sterling colleagues applied. I interviewed all of them. Their stories are familiar: great work, no recognition, managers taking credit, limited growth opportunities. I hired 2 of them for my team. When word gets back to Sterling, Jacob sends an angry email. "Poaching our employees is unprofessional and potentially illegal." My lawyer reviews it and laughs. Empty threat. He has no legal standing. People can work wherever they choose. I don't respond to Jacob. Instead, I focus on building the team I always wanted: talented, diverse, properly compensated, and valued. Blake notices the energy shift in me. "You seem different," he says one evening. "How so?" "Happier. More confident." He pauses. "Like you finally found where you belong." I did. A tech journalist reaches out requesting an interview. The subject: Women in Tech, Breaking Free from Toxic Work Environments. I agree. The interview happens over Zoom, recorded for a podcast and article. "How does it feel to move on from Sterling after 11 years? The journalist asks. I choose my words carefully. "I feel free. For years, I was building incredible things but not receiving recognition or advancement. At Helix, my work is valued, my voice matters, and I have autonomy to innovate. I hope my story shows other professionals what's possible when you refuse to settle for being undervalued." Do you have advice for people in similar situations? Document everything. Know your worth. Build your skills independently if your employer won't invest in you. And don't be afraid to walk away from situations that diminish you. There are companies out there that will see your value. The article was published 3 days later. It goes viral in tech circles, 20,000 shares in the first day. Blake reads it silently at breakfast. His coffee grows cold as he scrolls through comments filled with people sharing similar experiences of workplace undervaluation. "You didn't mention me," he says finally. "No." "Because of what I said. When you got fired." "Yes." He sets down his phone. "Vanessa, I need to apologize." "Not yet." "I'm not ready to hear it yet." Blake tries calling me at work the next day. I sent him to voicemail. He calls again. Voicemail again. Finally, a text. "Please, Vanessa. We need to talk. I made a terrible mistake." I forward the message to my lawyer with a note. My husband is attempting to contact me about work-related matters. Should I be concerned? Her response: only respond through me if he continues. Document everything. That evening, Blake corners me in the kitchen. Why are you avoiding me? Because I'm busy building my career. The career you said was coasting. I was wrong. His voice cracks. I was completely wrong. I didn't understand what you were doing, what you'd built. I'm sorry. You're sorry because I succeeded, I say quietly. Not because you hurt me. That's not true. Blake, be honest. If Helix hadn't called, if I was still unemployed, would you be apologizing? Silence. That's what I thought. I walk away. He doesn't follow. The truth is becoming clearer every day. I don't just need distance from Sterling. I need distance from everyone who made me feel small, including my husband. By the end of my first month at Helix, 7 clients had officially moved their contracts from Sterling to work with me. The revenue impact is exactly what Sterling feared, over $4 million annually. Devin is thrilled. This is beyond our projections. Your client relationships are even stronger than we anticipated. I'm in a strategy meeting when my phone buzzes with a news alert. Sterling Innovations announces restructuring amid client losses. The article details Sterling's financial struggles following the departure of key personnel. They're cutting 20 positions and reducing executive salaries. Jacob is demoted. The article mentions he's no longer managing the strategic accounts division. I feel no satisfaction from his downfall, just a quiet sense of justice. He built his success on dismissing talented people. Now he's facing consequences. That evening, Whitney calls. Vanessa, you won't believe what's happening here. It's chaos. Jacob's basically been stripped of all authority. The CEO is furious about the client's losses. Everyone's panicking about layoffs. I'm sorry people are losing jobs. I say honestly, don't be. Most of us saw this coming. Sterling's been coasting on your work for years. We all knew it. Now, everyone else knows it too. After we hang up, I sit with the weight of that statement. People knew. My colleagues knew I was carrying the department. But no one spoke up. Until it was too late. 3 months into my role at Helix, I'm sitting in a boardroom full of executives, presenting our Q3 strategy. My team has successfully implemented the client retention system across all accounts. Our retention rate is 38% higher than industry average. Vanessa's leadership has been transformative, Devin tells the board. Not just in client retention, but in building a culture of innovation and respect. After the meeting, the CEO pulls me aside. You're being promoted. Senior Vice President of Strategic Initiatives. You'll oversee not just product strategy, but business development and client relations across the entire company. I'm speechless. 3 months ago, I was fired. Now I'm being promoted to SVP. That evening, I didn't go home immediately. I drive to the beach and sit watching waves, processing everything that's happened. My phone rings. Blake. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. Vanessa, I saw the promotion announcement on LinkedIn. Congratulations. Thank you. He pauses. I need you to know something. That Slack thread with Jacob, the one where we mocked your work, I never should have participated. I was frustrated with my own job and took it out on you. It was cruel and wrong. Yes, it was. I understand if you can't forgive me, but I need you to know I see you now. What you've accomplished, what you're capable of. I was blind and stupid, and I'm sorry. I watch waves crash and retreat. Blake, I appreciate the apology, but I don't think I can be married to someone who laughs at my pain. The silence on the other end is heavy. I want a separation, I continued. We can discuss details later, but I need space to figure out who I am without feeling diminished. Vanessa, please. This isn't negotiable. I'll stay with Olivia for a while. My lawyer will contact you about next steps. I hang up before he can respond. Helix launches my proprietary client retention system as a product offering for other companies. We brand it as Connect IQ, and within 2 months, 15 companies signed contracts to implement it. The system I built alone on my own time is now generating millions in revenue. For Helix. For me through my equity. For the clients it serves. Sterling tries one last legal maneuver, claiming partial ownership of the technology. Helix's legal team dismantles their claim within days, using my meticulous documentation of independent development. The case is thrown out. Sterling is ordered to pay Helix's legal fees. I received an email from Jacob. The subject line: I'm sorry. I don't open it. I simply forward it to my lawyer and delete it. Olivia helps me move my belongings out of the house, Blake, and I shared. He's not there, I scheduled it that way. As I pack my office, I find old notebooks filled with ideas I'd documented over years. Ideas Sterling never implemented. You okay? Olivia asks, carrying a box to her car. Yeah. I look around the empty office. I'm really okay. Sterling's final legal attempt fails in court. The judge rules definitively. Ms. Foster clearly developed this technology independently, using her own resources and time. The plaintiff has no claim to ownership. Helix's legal team sends me the ruling with a note. Complete victory. You're fully protected. I forward it to every former colleague who supported me, to every client who trusted me, to everyone who believed I had value when Sterling said I didn't. Blake files the separation paperwork without contest. He includes a note. I don't deserve another chance, but I hope someday you can forgive me. You were always the strong one in this marriage. I just couldn't see it. I file the note away. Maybe someday I'll feel ready to forgive.
Today isn't that day.
A reporter from Tech Insider reaches out about the legal victory. Can we feature your story? How do you protect your intellectual property and build a new career after being wrongfully terminated? I agreed to the interview. The story needs to be told, not for revenge, but so others know their options when faced with similar situations. 6 months after joining Helix, I'm leading a team of 20. Former Sterling colleagues make up a third of my department, all talented people who were overlooked or undervalued at their previous company. We're building something special. A culture where innovation is rewarded, where credit goes to people who actually do the work, where talent is nurtured instead of exploited. During a team lunch, one of my new hires says, Vanessa, I want you to know, you saved my career. At Sterling, I was just a number. Here, I actually matter. Several others nod in agreement. These are people I recruited, mentored, advocated for. People who remind me of who I was, full of potential but stuck in systems that didn't value them. You all saved yourselves, I tell them. You had the courage to leave situations that diminished you. I just helped open the door. That evening, Devin called me into his office. The board wants to discuss your next promotion. We're creating a Chief Innovation Officer position. You're the unanimous choice. I'm 38 years old. 6 months ago, I was fired and mocked. Now I'm being offered a C-suite position at one of the industry's fastest-growing companies. Yes, I say simply, I accept. I gave a talk at a Women in Tech conference. The title: They laughed when I fell. They learned when I rose. The auditorium is packed, over 500 people. I tell my story honestly. The firing, the mockery, the husband who laughed, the company that undervalued me. But also the documentation that saved me, the clients who stayed loyal, the new company that saw my worth. I'm not standing here for revenge, I say. I'm standing here to tell you that your value isn't determined by people who can't see it. Document your work. Know your worth. Build your skills independently. And never, ever let anyone make you feel small. The standing ovation lasts 3 minutes. Afterward, dozens of people approach with their own stories. Women and men who've been overlooked, undervalued, dismissed. They thank me for speaking up. The video of my talk goes viral, 2 million views in a week. Comments flood in from around the world. People sharing their experiences, their victories, their ongoing struggles. Blake sends me a text. I watched your talk. I'm proud of you. And I'm sorry I wasn't there when you needed me. I didn't respond immediately. But later, I sent back a simple, thank you. Maybe that's progress. Maybe it's closure. Either way, it's enough. 1 year after my firing, I'm standing on Helix's rooftop terrace at a company celebration. We've just closed our Series C funding, $200 million, largely because of ConnectIQ's success and our client retention rates. My equity stake is now worth more than I earned in 11 years at Sterling. Devin finds me by the railing. How does it feel? A year ago you were getting fired. I finished smiling. A year ago, I thought my career was over. Instead, you built something remarkable. I look out at the city lights. Somewhere out there, Sterling is struggling, still dealing with fallout from losing key clients and talent. Jacob is working at a smaller firm, his reputation damaged. Blake is living alone in our old house, probably still trying to understand what went wrong. But I'm not thinking about them. I'm thinking about my team, my clients, the professionals I've mentored. I'm thinking about the culture we're building at Helix, one that values people, recognizes talent, rewards innovation. My phone buzzes. A message from a former intern I mentored. Just got offered my dream job. Thank you for believing in me when no one else did. I smile and type back. You earned it. Proud of you. The moment Blake laughed at me feels like a lifetime ago. That pain, that humiliation, it's not forgotten, but it's transformed. It became fuel, determination, proof that I didn't need his belief or Sterling's recognition. I just needed to believe in myself. I raise my glass to the city skyline, to the year that changed everything, to the career I built from ashes. The people who laughed learned their lesson. And I learned mine. Sometimes the best revenge is simply becoming everything they said you couldn't be.